This week, episode 289 of Stogie Geeks, we interview Gary Korb, the executive editor for CigarAdvisor.com. We're going to talk a little bit about holiday gift shopping. I've already done some pre-holiday gift shopping. Talk about some new releases that have happened over 2018 and some favorites right here on this edition of the Stogie Geek Show.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome to episode 289. I'm your host this week, Joe Hozempa. You are listening to Stogie Geeks. If you want the show notes, you go to stogiegeeks.com/289, and you'll be able to get the links that we are talking about. That's how our format is done. If you have any questions, joeh@stogiegeeks.com. Want to thank everyone for listening. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate. Make sure that you do it with some stogies in your hand. This week, we interview Gary Korb from the CigarAdvisors.com. And very exciting. They debuted in 2008. It's one of those reference sites that when I was doing the Cigar Club radio over on AM radio here in the Providence Metro, kind of really was interested in the content. They write some excellent content. Gary has been with them since their debut in 2008, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and some holiday gifts and some sticks that we are smoking right here. So, Gary, welcome to Stogie Geeks. How are you, sir?
Oh, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. It's great. This is really great.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk a little bit about the Cigar Advisors. How did that start, and what were some of the original ideas to have that start? And I'm sure, with online content, right, you can kind of pivot quicker than if it was a printed publication. I'm sure you want to look for riveting content. It's about gathering a cume or gathering of listeners and stuff like that. If you can share with us kind of how that started and then how that's related to the Famous Smoke site, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started working for Famous Smoke Shop in 2001, and a couple of years into the job, Arthur Zaretsky, who's the owner of the company, said, we really, it'd be nice to have like a newsletter or some kind of a cigar magazine we can send out, to people. And so I said, okay, I like that idea too. Let's see what we can do. So we started it as a newsletter, and actually it was called Shop Talk. So we put out the newsletter every week. And then later on, as the company grew and we ended up moving into a new space. We decided to go with more of a full-blown magazine type, an online magazine, and then we called it Cigar Advisor. And now, so I was basically writing all the copy prior to that, and coming up with all kinds of things like hints, and, how to light a cigar, how to we would take letters from people. I feature that. We feature, articles on, different aspects of cigars. And we kind of still do that, but we do it in a much better way now. We have video now. We do a lot of video reviews. We now have a staff. John Pulo is our managing editor. I'm the executive editor. Tommy Z-Man, who a lot of people are familiar with, is the editor at large. So we really have a good team and really enjoy doing it. And we try to, get the word out there as much as we can. It's hard to compete with some magazines, but we're not a print magazine, even though I do write sometimes for Cigar Journal. We do submit articles to them. But that's really the story. It's just we just keep doing our thing every day. You can find us on Facebook. There's always something new every morning. that we post, something interesting, hopefully. And we're going to be doing a review on the new, the Omelette Liberation cigar on Monday. We're going to be taping that. So we try to keep current and introduce people to these cigars, not just those cigars, but cigars that are also exclusive to Famous Smoke Shop.
Yeah, let's talk about the business logistics of it, right? You started in 2008, okay? How much has the technology changed, right? Facebook was 10 years ago, I could be off by a year or two, but it was just introducing the listeners, and it was starting to get some mainstream in there. Social media was just on the cusp, 10, 11, 12 years ago, video, the ease of producing video and making it embedded in an email, it's total game changer, right? I'm assuming that when you first did your first email, it wasn't on a multi-integrated platform that it's just basic. No. It's just basic. Hey, here's a stick. Here's some news. Here's a shot. You're lucky if you get a good picture, right? And stuff like that. Yeah. And then
it went out to our customers actually at first, and now we have our own audience.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Our customers still.
And I think it was a smart move to drive the audience, the listener audience, to the advisors to the website. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well played in regards to that methodology. There, and the content, it's really all over the map, which is what I think is great, because you're not really kind of limited within its scope, right? If you go to StogieGeeks.com, if you're listening to this, or if you're watching this, you go to StogieGeeks.com/289. That's today's episode. There's a link to the Cigar Advisors, and there's also a holiday shopping guide, which we're going to get into a little bit there. Gary wants to share some holiday ideas and stuff like that, which they're all available on your website. Is that correct, sir?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We love you. We love when our audience reads our articles, but we like it even better when they buy.
Sure, right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How have, in regards to the business, what's your kind of take on the multitude of new cigar companies that kind of sprouted over the past 5 years? I've followed the industry myself for about 23 years now. I've been involved at different capacities. I was a shop owner. I did a radio show. I was a rep for a little bit, and then I did a radio show, and then when that ended and morphed into another one, I ended up coming on as a co-host here at Stogie Geeks. So I've been involved in that. But what I've noticed is, I don't know, there's so many new sticks coming from Nicaragua that, I'm a fan. In the morning, I'm a Black Label guy in the morning, first thing in the morning. Hard, maybe 1 or 2 days a week I'll go for the Connecticut, over in the morning. But, I really like that taste, and Nicaragua is really, really here to stay. And the creativity of some of these brands is just awesome, What I think also is fascinating, because we're going to get into a list that you shared with me, is that although with the distribution channels and the technology that we have, and everybody can, be a fan of someone on Facebook and whatnot, it's still so regionally specific when it comes to market penetration. Have you noticed that? Or
I've noticed that. It's funny, because with the FDA regulations, everything, you have to be crazy to get into the business now. But a lot of the companies that have gotten in the last 5 to 10 years have done extremely well. In fact, a lot of the cigars on my list are actually from boutique manufacturers, the smaller labels, not just, General Cigar and Altadis,
Yeah.
And I think they're doing amazing work, especially the stuff that's coming out of Nicaragua. Of course, most of it's coming out of Nicaragua now. Some people call it the new Cuba.
Sure.
But the Aganorsa leaf stuff is just fantastic. Christian Iroa, he's doing his thing in Honduras. His Corojo is like probably the best out there. It's just, Nick Perdomo continues to do great stuff. He's been in Nicaragua for a long time. Hoya to Nicaragua. It's just, unbelievable what's going on there. And, it's not just the tobaccos that are grown in Esteli, Condega, and Jalapa, and even, some in Ometepe, but there are also these little regions in between, these regions that where they will grow a plot of tobacco that's just totally different because the soil is different there, and they just get a great crop. So they're always experimenting, and I guess just about everything now, if it's not made in Nicaragua, it has some Nicaraguan tobacco in it. So
sure,
there's such a lot for Nicaragua.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and what I think it did was it kind of got everyone's palate kind of dancing around, right? Because I mean, let's face it. I mean, if it's no testament to some of the classic stuff, but when you have a stick, or when you have a cigar that's all Nicaragua, you really know it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And it's just such a bold. It's I wouldn't describe it so much as harsh, but I don't know. Like what I'm noticing is that it just seems that these smaller companies are coming up new. Still, even regardless of some of the FDA stuff, sure, it's at a slightly slower pace than it was in 13, 14, 15, 16. But I mean, it's just such a boom that I really think it's a testament to kind of some of the classic facings that are trying to get into some of the Nicaragua, right? They've been, so it's kind of, it's kind of like choosing a category, right? So say Nicaragua is the category, right? Sticks that the consumer wants have some sort of a Nicaraguan component in it. And you take a cigar company that has a history of over 100-something years that's not in that region, turns around and says, well, we're going to try to do something in this region. Sometimes it's unsuccessfully in round one, right? Then in round two, they say, "Oh, we're gonna do a collaboration," right?
Right.
If you've watched Stogie Geeks, or for the Stogie Geeks listeners around this time, we did a prediction of what we anticipate kind of for 2018, right? And stuff like that. I expected, I kind of hit the nail on the head. I said that, we're going to have a lot of collaboration works, for sure. A lot of sticks doing the collaboration thing. And I think it's great for the industry because it brings the classic brand loyalty listeners to some of the newer stuff. And then it also does the vice versa, right? If it's a smaller boutique or smaller company brand loyalty, says, hey, I really never really got into that brand ever, or I never had the opportunity to, but I still find it so regionally specific. It drives me crazy,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I should have mentioned also Crown Heads. They're doing some great work too.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, and a lot of these companies, the smaller ones, they're also doing more small batch, limited edition stuff, and which is really smart, because what they do is thanks to social media, they're selling a lot of their cigars, like almost like pre-selling on social media. They get the word out there, and then once they hit the market, they're practically sold out. Sometimes they just sell out instantly. Like Crown Heads has several cigars that just sell out overnight, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because they have a very loyal following, and and I think that's a smart way to go. I think social media really saved, maybe not saved is the right word, but really helped, especially the boutique market.
Yeah, so social media has certainly been a huge catalyst for sure. With them getting the ability to get their word out there, to build a buzz. I mean, here in the Rhode Island area, we have tons of shops. I mean, it's really high penetration for sure. And a lot of those boutiques come in, and they there's buzz about them. Now, some of them are rep specific, right? So the rep or the broker does a phenomenal job about building that hype. But you know, I'm constantly walking into a shop and asking, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? You know, so now the consumer is educated now walking into the humidor. And it's got to be daunting for the retailers, right? Because they're like, oh, we got to catch up. And then everybody wants this one. And so it's like, okay, well, let's go this way. Everybody runs this way. And then, oh, no, let's go this way. So it's got to be pretty daunting for them. But, I mean, it's a fascinating time, especially with the potential regulations that's kind of umbrella in the industry and stuff like that. I've been saying since 2015, when I was way back on my show and here on Stogie Geeks consistently, I don't think anything's going to happen on that. Like, it's just going to kick the can like anything else. Because by the time they have so much to do that by the time they get to a premium cigar industry, you know, it's kind of like an old time boxing when it was 15 rounds. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even keep your hands up anymore. Just let them do what they want. Because if you look at the percentage of population who smokes premium tobacco, is smaller, and they're going after some of the big tobacco. Now, where I think that can kind of where I can bite my words is if the bigger tobacco keeps buying some of the premium stuff. You know what I mean? And then making it a noise. But, you know, that's business, capitalism, you know?
Yeah, you really don't want to get bought up. You know, Fuente was here yesterday. Leanna Fuente visited us. They had a dinner here at the Leaf Cigar Bar. And, you know, she was telling me that too. You know, just, you know, they've been able to stay independent. And actually, as retailers go, you know, Famous Smoke Shop has stayed independent. You know, we haven't been bought out by anybody. Arthur wants to keep it a family business, and I kind of agree with that. So we kind of stand out in that way, that we don't answer to anybody but ourselves.
Yeah, so. I mean, if you can do it, you know. So sometimes that knock on the door comes, and if you're tired, if you're tired and someone's creating an exit plan, right? You know what I mean? You know, if you're really, really tired and someone has an exit plan for you, that can look more and more attractive every day. Yeah. You know, for sure. Before we get into the holiday guide, what are some of the stuff that you like to smoke? I'm assuming it's on this list that over here.
Some of them are on the list. Yeah, actually, a few of them. And I'm smoking one of them right now. Okay. I'm really high on this cigar. It's called it's made by Asylum 13. It's the Medulla Oblongata, and this is the Maduro in the box press. It's beautifully done, and I've just really been raving about this cigar, just because it's really in my wheelhouse. It just tastes nice and sweet. It's Honduran, actually, with the San Andreas Maduro wrapper. They also make a Corojo, which is Honduran all the way through. That one's fantastic, too. It was kind of hard to decide what to buy, and I picked up a 5-pack. So I'll probably do these, and then I'll get a 5-pack of the Corojo, and, you know. But this is one of them. And I also, like this morning, I had a Espinosa Laranja Reserva. That's a really nice cigar, too. Yeah. And or I'll have, you know, a Romeo Reserva. In the morning, I kind of like something a little more medium. You know, or in the afternoon, I'll go for something a little stronger. And, of course, I'm always reviewing cigars, you know. Yeah. So, you know, I have to smoke stuff sometimes that I may not like. But, you know, you got to do it.
You mentioned it, right? You mentioned it. Take me through your specific, Gary's specific reviewing process, if you can, you know, a quick level, because I have mine here on the Stogie Geek show where, you know, we do sticks of the week, pre me coming on board as a host. They have their own rating system. I follow that rating system, you know. I think it's a great rating system, you know. But it's one of those things where, you know, I think that as my time progresses here, January will make 2 years I've been here, and it's one of those things where I find myself and my palate really improving, not only from the knowledge of people that we have the luxury to interview, you know, every week and stuff like that, but definitely. You know, just the palate improving as to what I'm looking for, you know, because before with me, and I guess I'll go first if that's okay, right?
Sure.
With
your show.
with me, right? I would say probably the first 6 to 8 months, if the cigar stopped me in my tracks, I would be like, oh wow, okay, look, get another one. let's try it. Let me sit down and let me do it. Because, I mean, we get samples all the time, just like you. We get samples all the time. We get new stuff. We get classic facings. We get cigars we didn't even know companies that exist that don't even have websites. And they're like, give me 3 weeks, we'll have a website before we go on the show, and stuff like that. And so, and then if it stopped me and the construction was good, I could associate it with an activity, either being on the show, typing on the computer, golfing, whichever. I would associate with that and then kind of rate it. And then now, I would say in 2018, when I have a cigar, I take the time. If I don't know what it is, if I'm smoking it blind, I don't look it up. I try to guess the region. I try to take notes. So I try to guess the region there. I'm not gonna tell you my percentages. They're pretty close, but sometimes, sometimes
Okay,
I'm like they're way off, right? But I mean, sometimes you can, if you're getting a brand new cigar and it's a boutique, you probably have an 88% chance of it being some sort of Nicaraguan component, But so I try to guess the region. I try to do that. Is there any tips that you can give me as to what you do for 2019 as I continue here on the Stogie Geek Show to do these Sticks of the Week?
Well, you're talking about suggestions, or you're talking about just the way I review, or the way you want to review them or look at them, so to speak?
Just like you said, it's my show, both.
All right. Well, anyway, first of all, at Cigar Advisor, we don't give number reviews.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even give star reviews. I did it for a little while, and then once we started the magazine full bore, we decided we're not going to give number reviews. We're just, and we're not going to pan anything. I mean, it's just, the cigar industry is tough enough. So, if we don't like it, we're probably not going to write about it. So I like to do things where I just, pick up the cigar, I look it over, I look at the construction. This is a really good example of a really well-constructed cigar. This is Asylum 13 Medulla Oblongata. It's got a beautifully done wrapper. It's beautifully pressed. It's not sharp. It's just nice rounded corners, but it's nice and square at the same time. And the color's even. It's burning really great. The ash, I probably had the ash go really long. It was really getting long there, but I tapped it out. And I like aroma. I think aroma is really important. I don't think that gets overlooked a lot, from people. They just kind of concentrate more on the flavors. But, the flavors are actually coming from your nose, So aroma is really important. And I think retrohaling is also important, too.
Mm-hmm.
You get a whole different ball game when you retrohale. You pick up things that you're not going to pick up just from your palate, and your tongue and stuff like that. So, but I know what I like at this point. I like cigars that are kind of on the sweet side and a little spicy. I don't like peppery cigars. I don't like cigars that are overbearingly strong. There's some cigars that are made, intentionally just to be strong. I don't go for that.
Mm-hmm.
I like something that's really well balanced, really well rounded. Something that I don't have to think about too much. I can just smoke it, enjoy it, and take notice of what I like about it. Like we'll be sitting in the room, John and I and Tommy, and we'll be smoking different cigars usually, and one of us will just like stop and say, "Oh man, this is such a good cigar."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or sometimes we'll say, "Man, this thing really sucks." The burn is really crap, and it's just.
Yeah, I guess our methods are kind of similar too, because I run.
Yeah, I mean, you go for. We kind of have it organized by the burn, the construction, the aroma, the retrohale, all those little pieces, and if they all add up in a positive way, I think that gives the reader a pretty good idea of what they can expect. I don't think a number necessarily does, but the numbers are important to a lot of people. I mean, they see that 92 in Cigar Aficionado, they go, "Oh, I got to have that cigar."
Sure. Yeah.
So, and even I fall for it too. I say, "Oh, they gave that a 93. Maybe I'll give that a try."
Yeah, there's the opposite can work yesterday, right? I had a 92 from Cigar Aficionado, and I was like, it's not even close. You know what I mean? It's
not all
even,
diamonds,
I'm kind of the same way. I guess, a lately, the past eight months or so, I've been focusing on kind of like the pre-light aroma. You know, where you're kind of doing a pre-burn. I'm like, oh wow, you know, just okay, yeah, cool. You know, because some of them actually, it's amazing how the way it smells kind of in the pre-light you expect it to be. It smells sweet to me, or it smells, you know, it's be. And then when you actually inhale the cigar, put it in your mouth and go, you're like, oh wow, that was kind of different. You know what I mean? Or, you know, especially when you retrohale. And there's some Stogie Geeks listeners that I run into, or they flash me an email and they ask me different questions and whatnot. And like, well, I don't retrohale. I says, you're really missing out on a lot of there. You know, there's, you know, I don't know what to tell you other than, you know, you know, give it a try. It's not for everybody, I guess, you know, but you're really missing out on that. And then I guess at the end, I take it a step further as, you know, because some cigars do require maintenance as you smoke them.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And
that's what I mean by
yeah, and it's like, okay, well, if I'm golfing or fishing, or if you're listening to this show and you golf or fish, don't take this thing outside because you'll burn. Like, you know, if you're wearing a windbreaker and you're sitting outside on a nice fall night, your windbreaker's toast, literally. You know what I mean? And then there are other times where I'm like, you know, this is a very portable cigar. Its construction is great. It's durable is great. And I kind of add up all those components and then put it into the rating system. And then the only two things another thing that I take a step further is I don't like sending Stogie Geeks listeners on a wild goose chase where I say, you know, look what we got. We got this unicorn. And by the way, there's only 500 boxes, and they're already sold out. And you're never gonna. I try to shy away from that. But that's me personally. Yeah. But one thing I do similar to you.
Sometimes.
Excuse me.
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, so one thing I do similar to you is how you contrasted, or for John, I have the luxury to contrast it against Paul Azadorian, who is also the owner of Security Weekly, which is the parent company of the Stogie Geeks and stuff like that. And I work for Security Weekly now, so it's one of those things where, you know, Paul, I'll be like, Paul, did you see this that they sent us? What do you think? He's like, I haven't had it yet, or I should try it. So it's actually nice, you know, for the Stogie Geeks listener at home. If you're smoking with friends, compare and contrast your notes. I think you'll be surprised about how different it could be, the same cigar, as opposed to, you know, when you're smoking amongst friends.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's, you know, it's everyone's experience is different.
Yep.
And the cigar that's for me may not be for you. And you know, and that's also the beauty of it. You know, there's something for everybody out there. And we try to, you know, illustrate that in our reviews too. We will say, you know, this is not for the beginner,
right?
You know, you might want to stay away from this for a while, but you know, but this cigar, you know, is just, it's nice and mild, or mellow, whatever you're supposed to say. Mellow now, you know.
Yeah,
you can't say mild.
Can't say mild, right? And, you can't say mild. You can't say boutique anymore, right? You know, it's old.
Yeah. So you know, we always try to kind of pinpoint, you know, where the smoker, you know, is in terms of what they would like about the cigar.
Yep. I noticed on your list, 2018 Davidoff Chef's Edition.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
2 thumbs up. We don't gotta give that a number, right? That's a phenomenal smoke. It's awesome. You know, it's. I mean, what can you say? It's year after year. It's just constant. I also like. The Davidoff has a golf edition. Did you ever have the golf edition?
No, I don't believe I have.
It's actually a pretty cool concept, right? I'll take you through it. It only takes 20 seconds. It's 5 cigars, right? It's 5 cigars. They're all with the white label, and then 4 of them have a white label. The 5th one has a gold label, right? And you open it up, it has a scorecard. So it's meant for you to go for a golf foursome, and the winner gets their second stick and whatnot, right? I'm not going to lie, Gary, I smoked all 5 and golfed with friends and kept them in my bag. Like, I was like, this is great. This is just way too good, you know? But it's actually a cool concept. And if you ever get a chance, like, I don't know, like that Davidoff grassiness that you just get, like kellness off the smoke. I mean, it's just amazing, you know?
I smoked it with Klaus Kellner and his Hendrik Kellner's son. We did a nice video on it. It's up on cigarvisor.com. and on our YouTube page. And wonderful guy, by the way. And we smoked the cigar, and I just really like. I tend to like a lot of the Davidoff stuff. I like a lot of the Avo stuff. The Davidoff Nicaragua, I think, is fantastic, and the Escurio takes it up to like a whole nother level. And but that chef's edition was really nicely well-rounded. And it was funny because Klav said, "Well, I find it very peppery." So I said, "Oh, okay." And I smoked it, and I said, "I don't find any pepper at all." So it's
right.
It's very interesting how tastes differ. But either way, we both love the cigar.
Oh yeah.
And that's definitely one you should try to get a hold of, and it's limited edition. So it's not cheap, but it's really a nice special occasion cigar.
Yeah, and if you're talking, if you're talking like a gift idea, if there's a cigar aficionado in your life, or if you're a Stogie Geeks listener, don't be afraid to post a link to your significant other and say, "This would be great in my stocking." It's actually it makes a great gift. Makes a phenomenal time there. I'm not a keeper. Like if you gifted me one, I would smoke it like that day. I would probably take this out of my mouth that I'm enjoying and smoke it right away. Like I'm so bad when it comes to that stuff. There too. Another one I noticed on your list, the Aging Room Pura Kappa Mezzo.
Yes, the Pura Sipa.
Did I butcher?
This is from Rafael Nadal.
Oh man, did I butcher that name, right?
It's pure. I think it means pure bread or something like that.
Yep.
It's I love Rafael. I love his stuff. He's really, really talented this way, and he works with some really good people too. And the Pura Sipa is again, it's like the Chef's Edition. It's got enough sweetness for me. And it's got some nice balance, and it's complex. It changes. It's some nice change-ups along the way. It's a little peppery, but it's not overbearing. And I just really like that cigar too. I think it's a really good choice, also, especially for a gift. And it's on my best of the year list. So
yeah, recently we had John on the show from Crown Heads. So that Court Reserve was awesome. Totally awesome. They sent me some of the...
Yeah, I just had it the other day.
Yeah.
And it really, really impressed me. It's funny because like the day before I had a Las Calaveras. And I like that too. I like a lot of their stuff. Actually.
So do I. Yeah.
The Jericho Hill is killer. But that is really, really nice. In fact, one of the fellows here, one of our buyers said he thinks it's the best cigar they've ever done.
Really?
Is that 18? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I like what Crown Heads has done. My first experience with them was the Four Kicks, and and I was like, wow. And then I got into the Jethro Hill there. Right. I'm sorry, the Jericho Hill and whatnot. Yeah. And it's just good stuff over there for sure. I've been on a kick here with Crown Heads. I bought a box. Hold on. I'm going in my nifty holiday pack. I bought a box that was in a shop for a while there of the J.D. Howard Reserve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and these I
haven't had too many of those. These I hear they're really, really good.
It's it's really good. Like I bought a box. I have 2 left. I have 1 here that I'm guarding there, and that's pretty much it. Like and they're so tasty, and they were tasty when they came out. But these specific ones, I've had the luxury of grabbing them after they were in a humidor for 2.5 years or so. There, so it was awesome. I was like, "You have any?" And they're like, "Yeah." Well, why? I'm like, "Oh, I have an interview, Crown Heads." So I run next door and I'm like, "I have an interview, Crown Heads." I want to smoke that. And then I try to rekindle myself with the brands. You know what I mean? Like next week we have Cornelius and Anthony coming on the show. Oh, wow. So yeah, so nice. So all this week I've been kind of going through the line. I have my select favorites already that I'm like, okay, definitely, I'm putting this in my rotation and stuff like that. But it's good stuff. One that you're sending me on a wild goose chase because I can't find them anywhere here is the Trinidad Esteli Robusto.
Well, that's because it's only available at Famous Smoke Shop.
Is it really? See, you're right.
It's made for us, and I'll tell you, it's really good. I was really impressed with that cigar, and it's really well balanced. It's got that nice little sweetness in it that I like, and it burns great. It's really, really well made. So if you want it, you're going to have to call Famous Smoke Shop.
It's funny
or go
because
to famous-smoke.com and buy it.
It's funny. I try to do my homework before every Stogie Geeks episode, and when you gave me the list, I'm like, okay, had it, got it, like it, got it, and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't have and I have one more, right? And so I did a round robin of calls, right? Do you have this in your shop? Is there a way you can deliver it to Stogie Geeks today? You know what I mean? Like, and whatnot. And they're like, nah. They're like, yeah, nah. And I think the person, he set me up. I know he did. One of the shop owners was like, no, I don't have that. But he's totally set me up. He's like, Josepa, you're probably not doing your full-fledged homework. And nor was that a plug for that. That explains why I legit. But at least I don't have to go on a wild goose chase anymore, right? I know where I'm going.
Right. You know where you can get it.
Are they sold out? If I click on the link, is they gonna sell out? Or we good?
No. We got plenty.
All right, cool. All right, cool. I want to go over one 300 Hands by Southern Draw. I'm a fan. Big fan of. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Southern Draw this year, and they have it at a bunch of shops here in Rhode Island. The rep does a good job here for the penetration and whatnot. And a lot of people have said that the Cedrus as well.
That's another good one.
Yeah. That's actually what I'm smoking now. And
okay.
and they're like, have you ever had that? I'm like, I like it. It's a good stick. Like, yeah, it's not like some of the other stuff. I says, this is great. It's showing development of a company, right? Someone came on board, started, right? And there's no testament to the first round of stuff, but, it was what it was. And then when you have the 300 Hands and you have this, is it Cedrus? It's Cedrus, right? I've heard Cedrus, yeah. See, in Rhode Island, it's Cedrus, it's Cedrus, it's, right? Right? So, and I'm like, I really like where that company is going. They're on my list of 2019, post FDA, whatever happens, to kind of really pay attention to for sure. Another one.
Robert Holt is doing a great job, and he's got a really good palate too. And it's funny, we have now an inside joke. It's that I don't like his cigars because. When I had the 300 Hands Maduro a few months ago, I don't know, it just tasted a little funky to me. But then I tried the 300 Hands Corojo when he was here, and it's a Habano, I believe, yeah. And it just blew me away. It just was really good. So I'm going back to the Maduro, and I'm going to review. And the Cedrus is really, really nice too. Robert was here a few weeks ago, and he was on our live show, and. Really, really great guy. And he really cares. He's doing a lot. That a portion of the 300 Hands profits do go to veterans and other charities. So and he's a veteran, and he does a lot for them. And they're just really good people.
Oh yeah, we actually had him here on the show as well. So we actually had him here live in studio. It was actually a treat to have him in studio, and it was a great interview and stuff like that. He was telling us his story and everything.
Robert, if you're listening, I really do like your cigars. I do very much.
Right?
I don't like all of them, being honest, but there are a few that Rosa Sharon is terrific.
The Rosa Sharon is I've had that. I've had Jacob's Ladder.
Jacob's Ladder's a little too much for me. I couldn't get through it.
Yeah,
it's just too strong, but maybe it just was that cigar. So but it had a great chocolatey element to it that I thought was fantastic. But it just got a little too strong. It might have been a time of day. I don't know.
Yeah, but, sure. It's one of those things.
They're making really good stuff.
Yeah, they're actually like I said, 2018. My lookout was Black Label Works. Again, I'm putting them on my radar. I'm putting them on my radar for 2019 as well. Totally digging the stuff from the Black Label Trading Company that's coming out there. Another one, I want to go over one more that I have not had the opportunity to have was the Casa Fernandez Miami Reserva Maduro Toro.
Well, I mean, I got to tell you.
Is that exclusive to you too? Because then I'd be two for two.
Cigars are just fantastic. That they're using that Aganorsa tobacco from Nicaragua. I think they have farms in Esteli and Jalapa.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the Jalapa tobacco because it's a little sweeter. It's very close. It's much closer to the tobacco they grow in Pinar del Rio, and they're just doing a phenomenal job there. And I don't think I've had. Well, I did have one that wasn't for me, but for mostly these. I'm trying to find it on my list here. The Casa Fernandez Miami Reserva Maduro was just absolutely fantastic. I think it also has a San Andreas wrapper, which I really like, and it's just well balanced. It's very full flavored. It's complex. It's really an elegant cigar. It's just can't say enough about that, and or the company for that matter.
Yeah, I'm actually ordering. I'm gonna place an order for that.
You're a good customer.
Well, I mean, it's like one of those things. I always like to try to, haven't had that, and like I said,
you should, yeah.
It's
I buy stuff all the time. We don't get really as many samples as we'd like to get, because they just can't. Not everyone can do it. But so I'll go to the store. I'll buy the cigar.
Yeah.
What the hell? And I think it's good too. I think it's good to as a reviewer to put your own money out for it.
Oh yeah,
There's something about that too.
Yeah, I do that too for sure. We do have the luxury of getting samples here, for sure. But sometimes logistically it just doesn't work, or someone booked an interview on the fly. If you listen to Stogie Geeks every week, sometimes we do 2 interviews back to back. Just because the person's available and stuff like that. So and so I'll go out and then do that, and then I like it. Let me ask you a personal question. Have you ever had what I call, I guess it's kind of like the placebo effect, right? You're filming the cigar, you're filming yourself smoking the cigar, and you're like, wow. Next to the roller or the creator or the owner, and you're like, man, this cigar is phenomenal. And then 3 months later, when you're all alone, it just doesn't taste the same. Has that ever happened to you?
Well, we have, speaking of samples, we have gotten samples in, and we said, oh wow, that's really good cigar. And then they'll finally come in,
sure, and
smoke it again, and we'll say, it doesn't taste like that sample, But
right.
I put a lot of I put a lot of faith in these guys. They spend a lot of time and effort, and aging the tobacco, choosing the right tobaccos. Most of the time they get it right, but again, not every cigar is for everybody. And I think that the cigars that are a little off, maybe from the sample. I think you have to give them a second shot too.
Yeah.
Don't just go by the sample, and you should always smoke at least 2.
Oh yeah.
Just so you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've had so many, and then obviously the images stick in my head where we're here, the guest is in studio, Paul's joined me on the show, so he's done obviously most of the talking, and I'm just kicking back and enjoying the cigar, and I'm enjoying the moment. And
right.
the guy or gal is here telling their story, and I'm like, man, this is a freaking awesome experience right now. I'm just in the moment. And then, like I said, 3 months later, I'm like, yeah, I remember that cigar was great, and I light it, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't taste the same. I got to get that person back here in the studio and see if it tastes good.
I'll tell you, I had a cigar just recently that I used to smoke all the time. I'm not going to mention the name.
Sure.
But it's made by a big company, and I used to love this cigar. And I decided to buy a 5-pack of them just because they're kind of on the medium side, and they're good for the morning. So I bought a 5-pack, and they don't even look the same. Like they used to have more of a square press kind of a look to them, more like they were fully square press, but a little bit. and the wrappers were lighter in color, and I lit it up and I said, ooh, this is not the same cigar. So, as I went through the pack, I just noticed that, I thought, well, maybe one will be better, and they just didn't have the same character as the ones that I smoked some years back. So, things do change. But one thing I will say, some of these companies, especially the big ones, they have so much tobacco in reserve that's really the reason why their cigars are very consistent year to year. Because they really take care of it and they have so much of it. I can't explain why that cigar kind of went sour on me. Maybe that 5-pack was funky. I don't know.
Sure.
But
yeah.
Now I'm not going to go back to it.
Yeah, I know. I have a few. I have a few that that are on the interview list, and either they either take out a Stogie Geek sponsorship, or they're coming through rotation, or they come in year after year, and then there's a couple that I'm just like, okay, I remember that stick. But then sometimes, especially if it's a smaller company, it I do smoke it obviously on the show, and it surprises me. It surprises me. So the placebo effect is it's not only a theory, because I've asked a couple of people, over in the industry who kind of review sticks and whatnot, and they're like, that really, and they're like, I don't know, like what I was told was that they said that I'm looking too deep into it, and I says, no, I'm one who enjoys the moment. I have the luxury to come into work every day. I can light up a cigar. I can continue to do the work that is required of me, and I'm critiquing cigars, and then so every day the UPS guy or girl comes in and has a box. Stogie Geeks. I light up when it says Joe Hozempa. I frown when it says Paul Azadorian. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't open Paul's mail, right? But I'm like, sometimes I'm like, we're expecting this. Can you open this now? Because they'll send it to him because he was on the list before and all that stuff. So, I get excited about that. But anyway, good. I'm glad it's just not me. And thank you for being honest with that. I appreciate that, because I swear the other person's totally it has to have happened.
I've had times when I was with the cigar maker, like when Robert Hall came in, for example, we smoked the Cedrus and the 300 Hands Habano, and you kind of almost feel like, well, should I gush over the cigar? I mean, the guy's here. Does he think I'm bullshitting him? But I'm always honest. I usually say, look, I'm not kidding. This really tastes good.
Yeah.
So.
I ran into that experience with the United stuff. The rep came here, and we were talking about the Byron cigar, and I'm like, it's phenomenal Robusto. Like, I love it, awesome, and I'm glad it still kind of stays true to my experience. And there's a bunch of them that really do stay true, but there's a handful that I'm like, man, I really was digging this, and then it just kind of fell off the map. So anyway. If you go to StogieGeeks.com/289, or if you go to cigaradvisor.com, click on their holiday giving guide. Let's talk a little bit about that. Yes, you made shopping easy for people.
Yes, we broke it down by I think it was samplers, lighters, cutters, the gift sets. I think there was one more I don't remember, but it's a really good catalog of gift items. If you haven't bought anything yet, get on there and you have some stuff. There's some good things.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, Joe. What do we have on there?
I got it right here, sir. Well, in no particular order. For those of you who want to do some shopping for Joe, who might be listening to the show.
What do you like on that list?
What do I like on this list? I'm digging this Cigar Arsenal gift set.
Oh yeah, that's really nice.
Which you had a delay. You're like going through your mental Rolodex, right? It's got this Cigar. That's the closest I can get without getting up and taking off my. So you have this Cigar Arsenal gift set, right?
They make great stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm like totally digging that. because
I have your EXO cutter here, which I really, really like, because it'll do wide ring cigars, which I don't normally smoke that much, but it's just a really nice cutter. It's really nicely designed. I like the way it, kind of opens and closes. It's got what's called a planetary gear system.
Yep.
And you can see all the little gears in there. It's just a really cool cutter.
Yeah. I bought myself a handy dandy leather folio finally. I would say probably February or March of 2018. I did a Stogie Geek episode on this, and I was looking for one for a while, right? And I think I'm thinking if I got this Cigar Arsenal, I could make that plastic humidor another humidor, right, for plastic for travel, and then take the components and put it in here. But yeah, it holds my lighter, holds my Cross Pen, former radio sponsor, Cross Pen Company, right?
Okay.
It has my name engraved of the show and all that. So I have a higher end Cross Pen. I got my business cards holder. So I got this over here. I got my Cigar cutter, old school Cigar cutter. Like I don't know if it's one of
the X1.
Yeah,
X2?
yeah. It's the old one.
Yeah, I have one of those. Yeah,
so I'm digging that. I got my handy dandy. It holds 5 or 6 or depending. I'm not a big ring gauge guy myself. I'm a Robusto Toro kind of person.
Okay, yeah, I like those a lot. Yeah, that's probably my favorite all-around size. You know what I also like is the double perfectos. They're like this little Zeppelin shape cigars. They bulge in the middle, but not everybody makes a good double perfecto. There are only a few that I like. But I love that shape.
Yeah.
Very retro.
Yeah, it's cool. It is a cool shape. I'm in the market for a new lighter, for sure.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the market for a new lighter. I've done a show on this, and I mean, the email I got from the Stogie Geeks listeners were hilarious. I'm like, okay, I really can't keep a lighter, and I'll be honest with you, Gary. I can keep a lighter, meaning I don't lose the lighter, right? But for me, they don't go over 3 months. And I've gotten emails saying, okay, you're using cheap butane, or do you bleed it? Yes, I do. Do you fill it up with the butane and then light it right away? And I'm like, how right away is right away? 30, 40 seconds? Yes. They're like, don't do that. You should let it sit for at least 3 minutes to warm up. I'm getting all these tips and tricks, right? So I've done that, right? Yeah. I've done that, and my lighter is on that I've gotten. I've got the canned air. They say, okay, when you light it, some ash could drop in there, so it kind of, a 3-prong becomes a 2.35 prong lighter. You know what I mean? It's kicking up, and I'm blowing in it, and it works for 30 seconds, and then after you relight, it doesn't work. And I mean, I've had all the major brands when it comes to lighters. You know what I mean? I've had them. And so, what's your experience with lighters? Like, are you in that 3 to 6 month zone, or do you lose them and you never have those problems?
No. I'm actually very good with the lighters. I take very good care of them. This is a from a Vector, the cigar lighter, and the way I like it is because it has a triple flame, and I hope it'll light. Yeah, there it goes. And what it does is it's actually it actually has a kind of a V, forms a point. Yep. So it's nice for, toasting and everything. And then if you have a big cigar or like 50 ring or bigger, you have the 3 jets. So that's good. But what I do is I make sure I bleed them completely. I use the new Cigar. It's the Puro Fine in a black can. It's like the high fidelity butane, and it really does help clean the jets too. I did notice that when I use that fluid, so you may want to try this, that the flame actually is higher. There's something about that fuel that's just really good. So try that. Also, I rotate my lighters too. I think that makes them last a little longer. I have so many lighters. I don't have like a ton of lighters, but I have enough that I sort of just rotate them around. I have a couple at home. I'll bring them into work. I'll take the ones from work home. Stuff like that. So But one thing you may want to try, which I learned that actually was from a video I saw, when you fill the lighter, okay, you want to fill it, and then when it stops, you want to just like I'm trying to find the camera here.
I got it.
And then you take like a bleeder tool or something,
Yep.
and you put it in there, and you get kind of like a psh, and sometimes air will come out, and that's good because you don't want that. The other thing you want to do is then hit it again, and then bleed it again. And when it sprays out butane, it's really full, and that there's probably very little air in there, so it's going to work a lot better.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a nice trick. Just give it a little bleed, before you finish filling it. Mm-hmm. And you'll get more gas in there too.
No kidding. I was looking at this.
Yeah, and never shake the can. Don't shake the can.
Okay.
People do that. That's not good.
Yeah,
Because air and other fluids will get into the lighter.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You have this awesome gunmetal Vector Quattro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So for those there, your Alec Bradley tabletop lighter burner, it's available.
That's a very cool lighter.
It's a cool lighter for
flame,
shops. A lot of the shops have them for sure.
Yeah, I call it the Tempest in a Teapot.
Yep. Talk to me about this Lotus Orion.
The Lotus Orion.
Yeah,
I didn't write about that one, but I'd have to see it.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they're making some really cool stuff.
Yep.
I think there's one in there that you, if it's not in there, let me tell you about it. They have a lighter that you just touch it and it lights. It's sort of like an LED kind of a thing.
No kidding.
And you just put your finger over it and it lights right up. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, they're doing a lot of innovative stuff.
Yeah. That lighter, send me a link to that one too, offline.
Okay.
Orion.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll write it down.
Yeah. No, the one with the LED. I'm in the kind of techie stuff.
Oh, the LED. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the LED one. Oh, hold on. No, I just hit my finger on the wrong thing. So hold on. Yeah. Yeah, you got a lot of really, really super cool gadgets here. A lot of lighters. Obviously, Zycar's in the mix. Lotus is in the mix. The Alec Bradley burn is in the mix.
Try to cover everybody, give everyone equal time.
Yeah. Yeah, but that Zycar Arsenal gift set, it looks so cool. You got like a flashlight, a lighter. A flashlight, a cutter, a lighter, and it looks like a tactical pen, which looks fun for sure. Then you got your classic great starter kit on your website. It's called Starter Kit Humidor number 4. Comes with an ashtray, a cutter. I think it looks like that Vertigo lighter. Not the one you showed, but like the regular spiraled one. That's actually a good lighter. That's actually a really good lighter. That Vertigo for the price.
Yeah, make good stuff too.
Yeah.
They're all pretty much, there are a few that, I wouldn't want to try. I mean, I stay away from the, I shouldn't say stay away, but I don't really use single flame lighters very much anymore. But I do have one that's a dual flame that actually also makes a pinpoint. And I think that's from Lotus too. It might be from Vertigo. I don't know, but that's a nice lighter. It's a double flame, but it actually makes a single flame when it, so it's a little more powerful, but it's really nice. You get a lot of good coverage with it.
Yeah, I like the ones that either have 3 and then point, or the single. I usually keep a single for kind of some touch-up stuff. Yeah.
It has the point.
Yeah, we have one of those here on the set as well. So, I use that for touch-up. This Zycar XO black on black looks so techy. It's like a little, it squeezes in, and it's of course that's not going to work, right? Hold on. Right, it's I'll show you this one. Right, this is so cool. Anyway, Stogie Geeks listening, yeah, you definitely want to go check out these. Hold on, if I keep it, there we go. Yeah, so see how it just closes down? It's black on black. It says Zycar. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's a super cool one.
Great designs.
Yeah, absolutely. The V cutter, tabletop cutter, those are famous in shops. They got a wood grained one. You got it on the screen? What do you mean? Oh, Yeah, show that to the listeners. Yeah, that right there.
Oh yeah, that's like
Oh, thanks.
it's the same thing with
Making my life
this.
easier. Cool. Yeah, yeah.
Just a different color, and yeah, it's really these are great.
Yeah. How small?
They do that's a higher end model, I think.
Yeah. Can you close that? And I just want to see like how small that is in your hand because it looks pretty handy for the pocket for sure. Like in the summertime.
I don't have very big hands.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mark, can you go back to the screen and where that was and just scroll up? There's only a couple more products. Yeah, scroll up that. Keep going. Yeah, they have a wood-grained one. We have that lighter on the set. It's in a different color. Obviously, we have those for the bigger ring gauges. Yeah, keep scrolling just so the listeners can kind of... Oh, the humidor is nice. What's that? It's called...
That's what I forgot. Yeah, I wrote about those.
Yep.
One of the things I wrote about, I forgot. Yeah, that Foot Locker is a classic. I mean, it has great humidor. Actually, I should get that because I have like 5 humidors at home, and I just would like to have everything in one place, you know. But
how big is that? I know it says it.
Test type.
Right.
It's pretty big, and I think it holds like 400 cigars or something. And you can put boxes in there too.
Yep.
Which is what I like about it. So if you're a box buyer, you can keep them down below, and you can keep your single cigars, you know, your everyday cigars on top.
Awesome.
I think it has 2 top trays too.
Yep. Also,
That's a
so
really
you can
good
hold the box.
Real solid.
That's really solid. What's that?
That's the New York.
Oh,
That's a really nice, really nice. It has a nice curve to it. I like the arch top and, you know, the brass fixtures and the burl wood and the, you know, inlay.
Absolutely.
It's really nice.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of cigars.
Scroll up now, producers, if you could, to the samplers. I just want to, just scroll up so listeners can kind of see that. There you go. Cool. Yeah, there you go. The Padron 8
there you go.
Maduro sampler. That's a must-have right there. You know, that's a must-have right there for sure. All right, keep scrolling.
Yeah.
All right, yep. And then you got your regular, the best of CAO there.
Yeah, that's really good. I love CAO.
Oh,
and, acid, you know, we got a lot of acid fans out there. Let me tell you, they're very loyal. So I wanted to put one in there for the acid people because that's a really good set.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good set right there.
And of course, Arturo Fuente, you can't miss with that.
No. So if you're listening to this podcast and you have a cigar enthusiast or aficionado in your life, definitely go to Famous Smoke and check them out. They got a holiday gift guide right there for you. Point and click.
Yeah.
They'll deliver it, and you'll find some other gems in there too. And don't be afraid to check out the clearance bin or the closeout bin or however, because you can get some really, really sweet deals in there for sure.
That's true.
You know, I've some of them I'm like, I can't believe they're letting them go, but I'm on it.
I know. You go like, wow, that was such a good cigar, you know.
Right.
But nobody bought it.
Yeah. You know, I always try to you know, go to, you know, give the local shop some love and stuff like that for, you know, but there's sometimes, you know, like I said, if you're looking for a humidor and you don't know what to get, or the Zycar tactical gift set, I mean, who wouldn't like that if you're a cigar enthusiast, right? You get a flashlight, a cutter, a lighter, and a tactical pen. Everything you need for the next apocalypse would be golden. All right. Just
my son sent me a nice gift this year. It's I wish I should have brought it in. I could show it to you, but I'm going to do a little video with it. It's an ashtray.
Yep.
And it folds. It's got like a leather and wood outer, and then, you know, it's square, and then you open it up. It's like a box, and you open it up, and one side's the ashtray, the other side there's a punch cutter, and then there's a guillotine cutter, and then there's a holder for the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this slot, you know, I'm going, what is that slot for? It's right in front of the ashtray. It's right between the ashtray and the holder. And I said, oh, maybe that's for matches or something. But no, it's not. It's actually, you put the cutter in there, and then you lay your cigar down, and you put the head right into the cutter, just enough, you know, like you want to cut it, and then you just bang right down like a guillotine, goes right into the ashtray.
Yeah.
And you have an ashtray, and it's very, very cool. I'll let you know when I put that up.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Nice, very thoughtful son.
Absolutely, it's super cool. So, really quick, what are your plans for 2019 with the Cigar Advisor program? Any kind of teasers coming out or anything like that?
Well, we're just going to continue to review new things that come out. We're going to try to do some some more interviews and things. Like yesterday, I interviewed Liana Fuente. She was terrific. We're just going to keep the ball rolling. We're going to have a new writer on staff soon. We lost one of our writers. So I don't know who that's going to be, but hopefully they'll be very talented and bright. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I don't know, actually our managing editor, John Pulo, he really does the schedule. So, but I have an article coming out, I think, let's see, this weekend about Maduros, top shelf Maduros.
Oh, wow, cool.
It comes out on Sunday. And I went through all the Maduro cigars that I like. Again, a lot of boutique brands in there. And then next week, the 16th, I'm doing an article called Gary's White Christmas Album. So all the cigars with white bands that I like.
Oh, cool.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'll have to pay attention to that. I'll do. That'll obviously be posted on your social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And the review on the Hamlet Liberation will be out soon too. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Gary, thank you for your time and thank you for your knowledge.
Hey, thank you.
Hopefully our paths will definitely cross again. And if you want to check in mid-year or something like that, it'd be great to have you back on the show and kind of check in.
I used to have in-laws up in Warwick.
Okay, yeah.
It was Warwick, Long Island, and I think Rhode Island rather.
Yep.
And there used to be we get off of the Green, what is it, the Green Airport?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
There?
Yep.
And there was a little cigar shop right by the airport. That's not you guys, right?
No, the cigar shop near the airport.
I don't know if he's still in business.
It was. I'm assuming it was by the Bay, which they're still around. Fred and Ida May own that. Maybe they're on Airport Road, but also where you were probably thinking a couple years back was the Humidor Smoke Shop. There.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So the Humidor Smoke Shop moved out of Warwick. They have 3 stores still. They have one in Newport, Rhode Island. They have one in North Kingstown, and they have their original store over in Cranston. Over there.
That's great.
Yeah. It's Donna and her daughter Jana own that. Awesome sticks there. I kind of gallivant from shop to shop. Because again,
it's good.
It's in Rhode Island. We literally have 38 choices that we can go to for cigar shops.
That's nice.
Now you may say, okay, well, where we are, we have more. But if you look at our geographical, if we're non-traffic, you can blow through Rhode Island in 38, 40 minutes. So realistically speaking, there's 4 in Warwick, but the one that we're located next to, we are the studio here is at 24 Quaker Lane, and we're right next door to the Havana Smoke Shop.
Yeah, well, it's too bad I'm not married anymore because I'd probably be still going up to Rhode Island a couple times here. I'd stop by your store.
Well, it's very cold
here. No reason
here.
to go there anymore.
It's very cold here, but it's not wicked cold. I mean, it's 36 now, and we only have probably 3 weeks out of the year in a row where we don't see above 16. But other than that, it's usually in the 30s, maybe high 20. Which it's doable,
Hey, let me ask you a question real quick before we go. I know there's a lot of colleges up there. You seen a lot of young people come in the store, and what's up with some of these younger people, these young smokers? Are they getting into it, or?
I think they're getting into it. What I'm finding out is that the younger smokers, they're big on brand loyalty, and they're big on what I call kind of the entry level sticks, right? Where they're big on some of the milder ones. Some of them go for either the ultra classic stuff because they've done it with their father or grandfather or family member and stuff like that. So they go for your classic facings, Dominican, or they go Drew Estate. Very few kind of come rolling in and be like, hey, can I get a Crown Heads, or can I get that Syndustry by Black Label, but it's really all over the map, and I know up here in the Northeast, Tatuaje and Viaje, super big here. Plus, I really haven't used that. I have to say those two names in a sentence every show because I always talk about them. So I really haven't. So at least I covered that requirement, right? Yeah. And but what I'm noticing is that the newer generation is coming in. They're kind of specific to that, to either Drew or some of the classic stuff. And then as they hang around, it always starts out, say there's 6 of them, right? And then there's always, 6 months later, the 2 that really thoroughly enjoy it, and the 4 that go on to like non-shop stuff. And then once they're there and they start talking to other people, they start getting into some of the other brands. So at least that's been my experience there. I know when I worked at Churchill Smoke Shop and Lounge, that's exactly how it was. It was either Drew or Romeo and Julieta, maybe Padron. The young guys, the girls come in. Oh, we're getting married, and what are we gonna have? They want to get. It's all classic and mild stuff and whatnot. But yeah, it's not as all over the map.
Okay.
Yeah, but I love the boutique creativity. I love how the smaller craft, and I also like it on another level when I do traveling and we get to someone who actually rolls like a roller, so it's non-brand specific. And what I've noticed more and more is even the rollers are rolling some sort of a Nicaraguan component as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it's like, oh, well, what's in it? And like, it's a Nicaraguan flavor, try it. I'm like, I'm in. Roll it. I'll smoke it. Let's do it, So it's a good time. So anyway, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you. Happy New
Same
Year
to
to
you. Merry
you.
Christmas.
Yes, absolutely. Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you offline, and then I'll also talk to you hopefully before the mid-year, and we can get you back on. It'd be good to kind of catch up.
That would be great. I'd love to do that. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I really appreciate the time. Don't forget, we do a live show every Wednesday on Facebook at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So anybody's interested in seeing that, it's a lot of fun. We have, we kind of goof off a little bit, but we also have a lot of information for the viewers. So I think they'll appreciate that. So check us out, Cigar Advisor Live on Wednesdays at 3.
There you go. Absolutely. Gary, thank you very much for your time. Stogie Geeks listeners,
My
next
pleasure.
week, stay tuned. Have a good week.